All right, so let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you're joining us from. My name is Estella Hilda Norman, and I work at Mobile Web Ghana as the coordinator for American Corner Aboba. And this is another session for our Get Ready for Work chat series, an initiative by Mobile Web Ghana with the support of the U.S. Embassy Ghana. So this is a very popular topic. We know remote job is very trendy now. And whether you are a recent graduate looking for a career change or simply exploring the world of remote work, you are in the right place. So over the next hour, we are going to dive into where you can land a remote job. So facilitating this session is Folakemi Olamidemije. Please, I hope I got the name correct once again. So Folakemi is a valuable enabler with over 4 years of expertise in talent acquisition and engagement. And she's also passionate about connecting talent with leading organizations. She specializes in creating opportunities that propel individuals towards success in today's fast-paced job market. With a diverse background, Folakemi has consulted for clients across multiple industries with a diverse, including IT, fintech, telecommunication, and FMCG. Her skills extend beyond recruitment to executing all these things. So let's just dive right into it. I'm just going to hand it over to Kemi to just take us through this. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther. Don't worry, you can just stay at Falakemi so you don't
Right.
so you don't bother my name further, but it's fine. I'm happy to be here and thank you everyone for having me. Nice to meet you, Jacob. Nice to meet you, Isaac, Emmanuel, and every other person that's on the call. As Estelle had mentioned earlier, remote work conversations are very engaging ones, right? Everybody wants that flexibility that allows them to not just do meaningful work, but then have a meaningful life all together. Let me know as soon as you can see my screen. And as you also established earlier, please, you can let us know in the chat box where you're joining from. You could give an hint into what you do or the skill you have, or probably where you play in either tech or not tech. Are you a developer? Are you a digital marketer? Are you a product designer? Just let us know in the chat box and keep it engaging. Okay, so as I've mentioned earlier, and as you have probably seen in the flyer that brought you here, our topic today is remote work, and our focus is where to land this job. And I'll be putting a little icing on the cake, not just only where to land these jobs, but of course, how to position yourself right and ensure that you attract the right set of either recruiters, hiring managers, or CEOs. Someone once told me about 4 years ago when I was starting out, he said, value attract value. It means value, no matter where value is, as long as it is work that is seen and is appreciated, people will always come to look for that particular value. So you can be a software developer and you are not positioned right. You'll probably find yourself in the company of digital marketers. It means for some reasons you are not in the right place, or probably you're a digital marketer or product designer. You're making friends or you are finding yourself in a community of social media managers. You probably are not in the right place, even though you have the right skills, right? So just a brief about myself and to let you know that I'm someone who probably has your kind of experience, one day was looking forward to working in a flexible organization. And then today I find myself working in an European tech startup that is fully remote, and I've been in operation for a few years. I currently am in Nigeria, right? And I have like over 4 years of experience in talent acquisition, working with different clients. And interesting how that just last week, one of my candidates in Ghana just got a job with a company in Nigeria as a client relationship manager, right? So this person is working from Ghana for a company in Nigeria, right? And so this is like an overview of what we'll be handling here today. We have the a brief introduction, of course, what is remote work, right? The top industries or the industries where you have people who easily work remotely. Like we should also, what do you have notes? Not all industries allows you to work remotely. So say you are an operations, let's say a mechanical engineer, of course, you know that's remote work is not something that is really widely accepted in that particular industry. So we'll be exploring the top industries where remote work is an option, right? And where to find this, and not only where to find this, strategies on how to position yourself for remote work. And of course, there'll be a session for Q&A. So please note all your questions, either from my conversation here or probably you've had questions before and you need someone to answer. I'll be glad to answer your questions. And of course, anybody on the call can also volunteer to ask to answer questions. All right. A few analytics on why remote work, right? There've been some surveys around, and FlexiJob rather said that since 2020, remote job has been has experienced a surge, right? There's been more acceptance of remote work, popularity, especially among the younger generation, right? And even not the younger generation, the baby boomers also want to say, oh, I heard this is the in thing. I also want to work remotely. What can I do, right? And a data from Global Workspace Analytics said that the number of remote jobs listed has been steadily on the increase again since 2022 with a significant increase per year. So where are these jobs exactly, and how do I position myself for this job, or what kind of industry or what kind of skill do I need to have? And as we all know, as most of us already know, the IT space seems to be the one giving people that flexibility of work. For instance, I don't know how to code. I'm not a developer or of any sort, but then I work remotely for a company as growth and partnerships, right? So irrespective of what you do, irrespective of your choice or your interest in tech, there are options available for you to work remotely. But I also want to note that more than anticipating to working remotely, it is important to anticipate or to anticipate or have your mindset out to driving or deliver value wherever you are. For instance, when I first started my career, before we go into where to find remote job, the company I'd worked with was a fully on-site company. But after about a year, they transitioned to being an hybrid company, right? So the company took an initiative and said, okay, since after COVID, it seems some of the work that we do can actually be done remotely. But for as a way of coordinating people and as a way of monitoring the work that people do, let's do 3 days and 2 days on, right? So in that way, I was positioned in that company to enjoy that benefit. And after leaving, I found myself in a company that is fully remote, right? So what you have not also mentioned that there are certain things that are within your own control and there are certain things that are not within your own control. So getting a remote job may not entirely be in your control, but preparing and positioning yourself for a remote job may be something that's entirely in your control. So more like getting the right skills, being in the right community and all of that. So where do we get some of these remote jobs, right? As I've listed here, one, we have freelancer platforms like Upwork, right? Let me show what Upwork looks like for some of us that may not really know Upwork, right? Can we see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Awesome.
Yes, we can.
So this is the Upwork platform, right? It allows you to work as a freelancer, right? Your jobs are bidded or shared on here by employers or people that need some sort of work, and it's usually very good for people that either have sales and marketing skills or design skills, or probably you're creative, you're into copywriting, or you're into content creation, admin support, and whatnot. This is a platform that you really want to explore, right? There are articles online, especially on YouTube, for you to get to know how to use the platform and maximize it for your own good, right? That is for freelancers, creatives, and all. And then we also have this platform. But before I go into that, let me go back to the screen where I was sharing. Yeah, Upwork platform. And then we have Freelancer, also a platform for freelancers. Either you want to do temporary gigs or contract jobs, just short term, say 2 months or 1 month or 6 months. And I've had friends that have gotten real jobs after working with a client temporarily because of the quality of work that they delivered, right? So if you want to explore the world of freelancers, you can check out Upwork and Freelancer. And then you can also look out for remote job boards, right? Example is Propel. So Propel is a community power platform where you can create tech jobs that has to do with remote, relocation, hybrid, and whatnot, right? I'll further, during the question and answer, I will share a link for us to check that out. And also Flex Jobs, right? Flex Jobs also has a lot of remote jobs on there, right? You can apply for remote jobs that aligns with your skill, either as a developer, as a creative, and just making sure that you're applying to the right jobs by reading, especially the details that this work has, and also remote.co is another platform that you can explore. And the last one is We Work Remotely. You can just take up the name of this site and put them on your Google search, and you will find them, and they'll just pop up, not to take so much of our time. And number 3 is company websites, right? I'm sure many of us may have our dream company, the company that we really want to work with. I had the companies that I really wanted to work with when I was leaving my last company. And what I did was to make a list of all of these companies and their websites. And after checking up their website, I went to their career pages, right, to check if they had openings, and more so if the company was either operating hybrid or remote, because those were the two kind of companies that I was looking out for, right? So I was targeting only companies that had these options and went on their websites, and it took me about a year or two to land this particular job that I currently have. And this is me trying to tell you that this process will require a lot of patience. I've seen many people start out their journey in whatever the career they choose, and within few months they got the job. Some within 3 months, some within 6 months, some 1 year, and it took some more, probably a year or more. But patience is one thing that you will require, and of course upskilling and reskilling yourself, right? And number 2 is the social media platforms, especially like LinkedIn or Twitter. LinkedIn is a platform that has benefited me in all ways. My first job I got on LinkedIn, my second job I got on LinkedIn, but it's not as simple as said, right? There are steps and strategies that you need to explore to probably get the results you desire. And of course, Twitter. I've also had a lot of people and countless people get jobs by Twitter. But the major thing that I've seen across board from those who got jobs on freelancer platforms, on remote job boards, on company website and social media platforms is the fact that these people add value to offer, either as an entry-level career person, a mid-level or a senior level. They had value to offer, and they were able to align their values appropriately. Right. The points that we have here is strategies on how you can position yourself for the remote work that you desire, right? The first thing I would like to note is building a presence, right? I would say online and offline. And this could mean you creating a professional online profile on either LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Yes, you may think Instagram is just for all sort of play. I've also had people get jobs on Instagram, and of course indicating your remote interest, right? Creating value even on this platform is also very, very much important. As a newbie that is probably starting out in product design or whatever skill, it is important to ensure that all your social media profiles, most especially your LinkedIn profile, which is a professional platform, but yet is a platform for professionals to engage in the social setting, right? Make sure that everything is set. Like you have your names on there, you have your let me go on LinkedIn to do, in case, just for people that don't know what LinkedIn looks like. So this is a LinkedIn page. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn page, and this is what the LinkedIn homepage looks like, right? It allows you to be able to showcase not just your skill, but then it's like a digital CV, your online CV, such that when you're sleeping, when you are not online, people can still have to reach out to you. And one part of LinkedIn that I feel people don't really explore is this part, that the jobs part, right? The LinkedIn jobs has listed both remote jobs, hybrid jobs from different countries, right? And it gives you the option of filtering filtering based on your preference, right? So because my profile is tailored to talent acquisition, human resource and all that, most of the jobs that I have listed for me here are related to recruitment and talent acquisition, right? And then I can always click on any of those jobs to, people and talent advice. So, it looks like what I want. And then I apply straight up, or it leads me to the company job board. And when it leads me to the company job board, I can also do a filtering on that particular company. And then the job board also has gives you the privilege of searching based on title, searching based on the city where you're currently resided in, or probably your states and all of those things. So LinkedIn is a platform that you really, really want to explore. And because it's a platform that I have used, I might want to do a little bit of demo, right? For you to just note the important things that you need to fill up, from your profile picture to what you do, no matter your level, either as an entry level, intermediate, or senior. What you do and what you can do must be or should be clearly stated here, right? Making sure that your about session, which is this part where people can get to know you. So for myself, a little bit of where I am, where I'm coming from, and my ambition, what I'm anticipating in my next career is summarized here, right? And this is for people to be able to, oh, okay, this girl looks like somebody that can work in my company, and then let's reach out to her, right? I've had recruiters, hiring managers of all sorts reach out and say, oh, are you open to this opportunity? Or maybe not me being open to opportunity, they've reached out to me to refer other persons, right? Like I mentioned earlier, a candidate in Ghana just got a job with a client in Nigeria who is in tech space, right? So there's no barrier anymore. There's no excuse for you to say, oh, I don't have I can't apply to remote jobs, or excuse for you to say, oh, nobody is calling me, nobody is seeing me, nobody is doing this. The question is, are you in the right places? Are you positioned well? Okay, going back to the slides. Number 2 is networking with your with people either offline or online, right? One of the things I would do if I was starting up a new career would be to seek out for people or professionals in that particular industry and identifying the communities that are in that particular industry, right? There are a lot of developer communities around. I know of GDG Accra. I know of Flutter Accra. These are developer communities where you as a developer can get access to latest technologies, latest news in developer space, get to know people that may be your key to your next job, right? Also attending virtual events that relates to your industry. These days, referrals work a lot. People refer who they know, right? I've had people also reach out and say, oh, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Do you think this person can be a fit for our company? Yes, we're interested in our skill or our skills, but then we want to be sure that this person has the right character, right? So networking is also very important. Networking with people that aligns and know what you probably know or probably what you're looking forward to doing. And also learn about remote work, right? It's enough to say, oh, I want to do remote work. Do you have the soft skill required for it, right? Are you able to manage your time well? Are you able to communicate well? Because you'll be working with people that you are not seeing physically, right? I've had unfortunately people starting a remote job, and in space of 1-2 months, the company is telling them to go, not because they don't have the skill, but because they were unable to manage themselves when they were given the opportunity. And number two, research remote friendly companies. Like I mentioned earlier, not all companies have the remote option, or not all companies are hybrid. So when you're looking out for a company that you want to work with, you can check on their LinkedIn page. Most companies have it there if they are remote friendly or not, so you might want to check that out. Explore companies known for offering remote work opportunities and check their career page. All of this information are usually on companies' websites, right? The first thing, like I mentioned earlier, make a list of the companies or start with the industry you really want to explore. I started with saying, oh, I want to work in the tech space, right? Starting from there. Then I went online and started checking, oh, what companies are there in the tech space? And because I know that my chances of getting into some of the big companies is very slim compared to when I target the startup. So I thought, oh, I'll try targeting startups, right? And it worked for me, right? It worked for me, and I've seen a lot of people too that it also worked for. As long as you're a person of value, going to startups and telling them that, oh, hey, I want to offer this value to you might be a good option that you might want to consider. Also, number 4, I like remote work skills on your CV and when you're having interviews, right? You might want to emphasize during your interviews on your CV, letting people know that, oh, yeah, I'm able to manage my time. I'm able to manage myself. I can communicate well. And this could come in different scenario questions, right? The questions could be, oh, how do you manage yourself? How do you do this? Recently, I was recruiting for a client, and the question that was posed to a particular candidate was, how do you manage your tasks? And unfortunately, she could not answer, and she gave a lot of answers, but then it didn't cut it for the client, right? And that client didn't hire that candidate and went on with another person who has shown not only in her CV, but able to communicate that, oh, this is what I did, or this is what I've been doing in the company that I currently work with. And lucky for her, she currently works in a remote flexi company, right? So she already has that discipline of managing herself, managing her tasks, managing her clients, and all other stakeholders. So it's important to communicate this across the board on your digital profiles, on your CV, during interviews, such that the communication is out there, and whoever is recruiting or interviewing you knows that you are ready for what you want, right? And again, exploring freelance platforms, leveraging platforms like Upwork, also Fiverr, yes, is a platform that freelancers use a lot, and Fiverr to find remote project-based opportunity and also build your portfolio, especially if you're a newbie and you're feeling like, oh, I don't have anything to showcase on my CV. I don't have any work to tell people that I know how to, but I really want to do this. So you can use those platforms to get projects, short-term projects to boost your portfolio. You could also volunteer in places to offer your skill, and in that way also build your portfolio. And the last point here is monitoring remote job board. When I was looking for a job about a year or two ago, I turned on my email alerts for different job boards, right? So that I am one of the few people that gets to be alerted that, oh, there's a new job on the board that you should check, right? So you would want to explore most of these options, because the more options you have, the more chances of you getting what you desire. So I don't know so far. I want to be sure that I'm not the only one that is still here.
Hi.
Anybody there?
Yeah, so we can take questions if that's what you're asking.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
yes. Okay, so we can just drop our questions for Kemi. Yes, any questions you have about where to land a remote job, how to go about the process and all that. You can just drop that in the chat box, or you can use the reaction button and then you'll be given the go ahead to speak.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Hey. So I think we have some comments in the chat box. I'll just read them whilst we wait for others to drop their questions. And so I think I am Dabwa from Tamale. Yes, campus to be precise. He's joining us all the way from Tamale. Thank you for joining us. And then we have Levison. He said he's an American corner coordinator in Malawi. Hi, nice to meet you, Levinson. And then we also have Farid. He said he's a recent graduate. He works in supply chain and logistics operations. What could be some remote jobs that could be available for me? What skills should I learn to enhance my suitability for remote roles? Maybe I can take it one after the other. So the first question he's asking is that what could be some remote jobs that could be available for me? Yeah.
For supply chain and logistics operation. Okay, so most of the companies that I know that are into supply chain are mostly they work on site because most of what they need to do usually requires moving something from one place to another. With the exemption sometime of the customer representative or probably yes, the customer representative person. And like I mentioned earlier, the option of remote work usually is not dependent on just you. It could be the company you're reaching out to. Like I said again, like I would emphasize again, most remote and logistics companies usually require that you are probably present in either your client's location or the person you're delivering to, where you're picking up and whatnot. And the second part of your question says, what skills could I learn to enhance my suitability for a remote job?
Yeah.
I think I would want to ask this person, what exactly do you do in supply chain and logistics? Like, what's your role in that company?
Right. So yes, that question is to Farid. You
Yeah,
can
Farid.
answer that. Yeah. But as we wait for him to tackle that question, this is from Samuel. He says that he's a final year journalism student, Ghana Institute of Journalism. Hi, Samuel. So he says, how do I position myself on LinkedIn and Facebook to boost my chances of getting a remote?
Also for Samuel, what do you do? Right? Sometimes the question of what you do could help with where, So what do you do exactly? So you could
He's a,
start your
okay, I just wanted to jump in. He says he's a final year journalism student. So he's still a
journal.
student. Yes.
Okay. So as a student, so I'm happy to say this because I know a lot of students on LinkedIn that are already positioning themselves right from school days, right? You're a journalism student. It means you have you might probably have some interest for writing, right? Maybe you have interest for writing. You might want to explore the something like content writing. And even if you want to go further into journalism, there are a lot of writing gigs or literally just you showcasing yourself on LinkedIn as someone who knows what you're doing in journalism, right? It may be probably you finish school or you finish a lecture and something that your lecturer said interests you and you think would be of great help to your audience. You could share it on your LinkedIn page or probably your Facebook or even on your WhatsApp status. Oh, this is what you were taught in school. And by the time people already know you as, oh, this guy does or has interest for journalism, when there's an opportunity to either recommend an intern in their space based on people that already know you, you'll be the first person to come up on their mind and say, oh, I know Samuel. Oh, Samuel does something around journalism. And that is how sometimes I get referrals as well, because I talk about recruitment, I talk about HR, I talk about personal development on my status, on my LinkedIn page, on my Twitter. So when people see those opportunities, I'm always top of mind. I'm always the first person, or maybe one of the first people on their mind to say, oh, I think this opportunity will be good for Folakemi, because they have seen me talk about that thing on their on social media or anywhere at all. So you might want to talk about what you do.
All right, so you might want to talk about what you do. So let's moving on to that from Bright. So Bright says he's a videographer and a video editor. What's the best way to land remote jobs for such professions?
Videographer and editor. All right. I like the fact that the questions or the people on this call are a little bit different from what I would have expected. Probably some of those techies, and of course the more conventional roles that are open to remote job. So say a videographer. So I expect you as a videographer or a photographer to have a portfolio, right? A portfolio simply means a more like a place where you have all of the works that you've done, the videography work you've done in the past, the photos you've taken, and all of these things. Your social media page, again, is a good place to display this thing, right? When people don't know what you do, when people don't have an ink into what you do, it might be hard for them to place their hand on, oh, say this is what let's say Folakemi does. She says she's a videographer, but we don't have anything about her anywhere. So I don't know exactly, there's no, I don't know of a platform where it's a company of or a group of videographers, but I know that what you can do to increase your chances is to let the world know what you're doing through your platform. It could be you start creating and let people know that, oh, I took this picture today. You could get critics from fellow photographers like yourself or videographers like yourself online, give you feedback on where you can do better. And before you know it, you're also building a community for yourself, and a community of attract similar people to yourself. And that's what social media does. The more you post things that aligns with you, the more the algorithm attracts people that have similar profiles as you. And before you know it, you're building your social network, you're building for yourself. So please, it's an option you would want to. Remote work simply means you're doing something from the comfort of either your home, your workspace, or something, right? That's just the English there. So even as a videographer, people could call you and say, oh, can you go and cover this event for me? Or that's, you're working remotely for that person. You don't have to be in their house. So it's remote work is not a big one, like it's simply you doing something either at an unconventional place, not the four walls of a company.
Hey, thanks for that response. So we have a lot of questions coming in from our participants. So this is from Kwame. Kwame said he came to World Web Ghana yesterday for a seminar. Oh, hi, Kwame. He said, what remote work is, what, just a minute, I think I dropped that down. He said, what remote work is connected to construction? Or do you have to completely move into IT?
No, you don't completely have to move into IT. Like I mentioned, I work in a tech company, but my role does not have to do with coding. I basically do growth and partnership, and I'm doing that remotely. We don't have a physical office, and my company is in Europe, right? So you don't need to be a techie. You don't need to be a full stack developer, but just ensuring that whatever it is that you are doing has that option of you being able to do your work without having to be in an office, right? So I'm sorry, I think that I lost my thought, my chain of thought. Can you say that question again?
Yeah, so the question was about the fact that he is in a construction, space, and then he's asking that is there any room for him, or it's just for IT people? Let me put it that way.
Construction, it means you have to be on site. It means you have to probably manage the people you're working with. You can't build house remotely, right? you can't build out remotely. I don't know of that technology yet, but as at what I know now, you can't build out remotely. You can't arrange physical objects remotely. But that you may say something more like, I know of a construction company, right? They have an office, but they don't work in that office. They work on the client side, right? So maybe something like that, a company that has an office, but you don't necessarily have to come, you only go to work on site. I know of a company as such. So, but for a construction person, I don't think that option may be available for you to build a house remotely, kind of.
Okay, so thank you so much for that response as well. So this is from, it looks like we're having a lot of people who are asking questions from their professional level to know if they can fit into this new space. And so this is Lewis. He says he's an English teacher, well versed in Cambridge curriculum. Are there any remote jobs I can venture in? That's his question.
Yes. There are a lot of it, right? There I can't place my hand exactly on one. There are platforms where, as a teacher, you can teach students in other countries remotely. I'll probably look for where to. I've forgotten that platform now, right? Where you can teach people, you can teach students, and I'm happy that you said you have something Cambridge and all. It means you probably have the skill already, right? You can check online for tutoring platforms where you can offer your teaching skills to people outside your country. It could be somebody in the UK, somebody in Nigeria, somebody in the US. Please, you have a lot of options, especially as a teacher. You have a lot of options, especially in a time where a lot of people are being homeschooled, a time where countries are currently in war zones and all. So you are very much on the right track. You can check out even on Upwork. I've seen, excuse me, even on Upwork, I've seen adverts for tutors, right? So please check them out. You have that option for yourself.
Okay, so this is also okay. So Farid has his hand up. Maybe we can just give him the go ahead to speak.
Yes, please.
Farid, you can go ahead and ask your question or drop your comment as well.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
loud and
clearly.
clear.
Okay, so I asked a question earlier on. I was the one who asked the question. I work in the logistics and then supply chain.
Yeah. Happy
Yes.
to hear you, man.
So yes. So I was saying, in response to your question, my current role deals with inventory logistics. So basically, what I do is I manage the company's inventory using the company's ERP system. So what I do is I generate data insights for enhanced collaboration and increased decision making. And I was wondering, I've been wondering for quite some time now. I've been doing some research on business analytics, whether I could actually gear into that path and then sort of link it to what I do right now and probably land a dream remote job. I was just wondering your insights from that. How would that work for me too? Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for putting context into your question earlier. So business analytics is a good way to go, right? You already have the transferable skills. You deal with a lot of data. I'm sure in some way you also deal with Excel and some of those databases and analytics too. So you're very much on the right track. So while you're currently here doing your inventory, you could think of signing up for courses or probably even on LinkedIn, reach out to somebody who is a business analyst. And it's also I don't know, I tell people a lot that we are in a privileged generation, right? And the thing is that we have a lot of resources that people don't know how to take advantage of. So you are currently in an inventory. Business analytics is also a way to go. Majorly, you're dealing with analyzing the company's data, right? So you might want to take up a course. You could just go on Coursera or probably go on YouTube to just read up on these things. And while you are doing your inventory work, you can begin to identify the similar path, right? And in that way, start positioning yourself. It first starts from the mind, right? You begin to have that mind shift. And also, of course, you find yourself being positioned for that. Look for people that have business analytics probably on their LinkedIn profile, reach out to them, have conversations with them. That was what I did myself when I was chattering into the HR space. I started reaching out to people and just letting them know my interests. And before I knew it, I started learning from them at a distance, and I got the job that I got, right? So Farid, you're on the right track. Where you're delivering value where you are right now, prepare for your next move by gathering the right knowledge.
All right. So we have the next person, that is Reina. Reina has his hand up. Please, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, thank you so much for that wonderful teaching. Okay, so my question is, I'd like to find out the response. You mentioned during an interview with a candidate, you asked how do they manage their tax, right? So I just want to find out, is it okay? Because I usually just mention that I use a tax management platform. So I'd like you to share. Do you think that answer is sufficient or adequate, or are there things that you need me to add to that?
Awesome. Thank you for that question, Rina, and happy to have you here. So what the client was looking out to hear at that time was bordered around the tools that the candidates use, and of course how the channel of how she escalates the channel of how she escalates our communication. It was a customer success rule, right? So they wanted to know if in the case where you're probably having a downtime or probably you are not online, do you wait for hours before you let your team members or your team lead know that, oh, I'm not online at this moment, and how do you prioritize your task in a case where you have an irate customer and your team lead is also drawing you to do something? How do you manage that? Those were some of the pointers that the client was looking out for. And I also want to mention that sometimes the question that the client or probably the hiring person gives to you, in some ways, they already have their answers in their mind, right? The way you answer might do for one, the way you answer might not do for another, right? I've been in such cases where I gave the right answer to the best of my knowledge, but it was not accepted by the recipient. I have no control over that. So not just talking about the tool you use, you can also give a case scenario of when you've had to manage communication between either when you were doing something in your company, right? Oh, this happened, and this was what I did. So you can also want to explore giving case scenarios while also mentioning the tools you use.
Okay, so we hope your question was answered, Reina. And yeah, Reina, yes. And so jumping on to the next question, we have Emmanuel Anafo. He's asking that, how do you volunteer on the platforms mentioned? And is there any way you can find mentors or someone to guide you through the remote work journey remotely?
Okay, how do you volunteer on the platforms I've mentioned? So
Yes.
my first volunteering experience was gotten from LinkedIn. And how did I get it? I simply saw an advert for a call for volunteers for a girl child event, and I volunteered for that event. So you would always want to be on the lookout, right? I've also had people reach out to me to let me know that, oh, we are open to volunteering opportunities. And so I made a mental note of that. So when I came across a call for volunteers, I was quick to share with that person, right? So I really don't know of a platform where volunteer roles are listed, but you want to look out for either events where that aligns with what you have interest in. You might want to, for volunteer, you could look out for communities. Communities usually request for volunteers. Either you're a product designer or a graphics person or somebody who does anything. There are a lot of communities that have events that need volunteers. Even your church, your Christian organization, your school community, your school organization. There are organizations in your school that will need volunteers for something or another. You could say, oh, we need somebody to manage our graphics, we need somebody to manage this. These opportunities abound. It's just for you to be able to talk to the right set of people and also be ready for when you're called upon.
Okay, right. So this is from Richmond. He's asking that can we have the platforms mentioned
Again.
Yes.
Yes, I'll go back to my screen so you can just look at it while we answer another person.
Richmond, I hope that covers your question. Okay, so let's jump right into something else. Okay, so I have a question on my table, and the question is that how can individuals identify reputable remote job platforms and websites to streamline their job search in that sense? Because there are so many remote jobs out there, but how do I know which one is a reputable one that, is well trusted that I can just apply for without, wasting too much time and all that?
Yeah. First off, what I look out for, especially if it's a company that is hiring, the first thing I do is to get their websites. And as soon as I get their website, I also try to locate their LinkedIn page. And the reason why I'm always referring to LinkedIn, because usually companies will have people connected to them on their profiles, right? So once I do that, the first thing I did when I got a call from the company I currently work with is to look out for somebody who works in that company and is currently in Nigeria. And I reached out to her, sent her a short message and said, please, would you like to jump on a call with me? I just wanted to confirm something that, then we jump on the call and she gave me details about the company just before I accepted the offer, right? So you would want to look out for reviews. Some of these companies will have either reviews on Google review or something, and check out their website, and also look for people that work in those companies. LinkedIn, again, I would say, is a very good place to find out people and the companies they work with. Then look out for someone at your level, or if you have if you can muster courage to probably reach out to someone in a top position, just basically engaging them and asking them questions. But before you do this, make sure that on your profile, you are not having a profile that does not have profile picture. People are scared of interacting with someone that does not have a face. Or on your LinkedIn page or on your Twitter page, there's nothing at all. There's no name, there's no picture, there's nothing at all. You might not get the right reception, right? So check companies' websites, and after the websites, it will lead you, you'll be able to locate their LinkedIn page. Look out for people that work currently or have worked in those companies. And also in your WhatsApp group, you can also ask, hey, please, who knows XYZ company? Have you worked there before, or have you had any experience? And people are always ready to share, at least for to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, so thank you for pointing out all these tips to us. I think there's another question from Eric. He says that I'm an accountant with a reputable hospital. Can I get an accounts-related job? And what are the advantages?
I think I also saw that question. And the other question you had, it has two parts. I think we'll go back to it. So as an accountant, accounting was listed to be, I think last year, accounting and IT were the top companies, were the top industries that had the highest number of remote work, right? So sure, as an accountant, you stand the chance. Companies have need for keeping their books, right? Again, I would say remote work is simply you being able to do your work from anywhere aside the four walls of a company. So I'm just trying to demystify that. So you getting a job or getting a freelance gig from a company could be as much as somebody reaching out to you because they know what you do. Say, hey, Folakemi, I know you're an accountant. Can you get this done for me, right? And I'll get to pay you. So you can always position yourself by letting people know what you do. It looks like I'm further emphasizing this. It's because for most people, we don't tell people what we do. We are ashamed or probably feel like somebody is going to say this. So let people know what you do. People within your network, let them not only know what you do, show and do good work. And then you will see people begin to call you for what they know that you do, right? So as an accountant, you sure do stand a chance to get a remote job, even while you're doing your current 9 to 5.
Okay, so I think Rena has a hand up again. Please, you can just go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, so I have this brand that I've always wanted to work with for a long time, and every time I go to their website to check out for job openings, but there's always nothing on there. So probably it's an in-house thing that they do. So I'm thinking of working into their office. Right now, I just want to start with just volunteering my my skill, right? So I'm thinking of just working into their office to I should just find a volunteer spot for me. So do you think that's a good idea, or is there any other method you think I can use in this regard?
Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned that you checked their career page and you did not see any opening. Same thing, the role that I currently do, it was not advertised anywhere at all, but I was informed about it because I reached out to somebody on LinkedIn and said, oh, we have this opening, but it was not shared anywhere. So you can choose to go the route of walking into the company. And of course, you are not just going in blindly. You have prepared yourself. You have your CV armed with everything that you need to be stated on your CV. Walk in and let them know that, oh, you probably want to see the HR or whoever it is that you feel is the right person to talk. And if it's an ideal company, they should grant you audience just because you want to offer help, right? And another thing you can explore is if they have a website, you could get their emails, and shoot at them, and making sure that the email targets your interest, the skill you have to offer. And of course, I think I know that you're a digital marketer or something. You could probably have checked on their digital footprints and spot a need that they have, and ensure that you target that particular need, letting them know that, oh, I see that your ads or your designs do not align. I feel like your designs do not align properly to your brand message. Oh, I did this design. I could want to hear your feedback and also volunteer to offer this as a service to you. So people would always respond to people of value. So your view should not be, oh, I want to work for this company. Why do you want to work for the company? Do you have what it takes in terms of, have you done your own part of having the right skill? And I'm sure that you probably have that already, and that will give you boldness and confidence to walk into the company and tell them this is what you have to do. And of course, they'll ask for your CV, send a mail to them, reach out to anybody that works there on their LinkedIn page, and you will see expanding. When they see that, oh, we've seen this girl everywhere, let's give her an audience and at least hear what she has to say. And I wish you all the best.
Okay, so one last question before we wrap up. Our time is just very close to wrapping up. So what are some of the common mistakes to avoid during a remote job application process?
Okay, some of the mistakes that you need to avoid or something you need to take note of is that for every job, there's a requirement, and there's a requirement in terms of the skill required and how to apply. So if a job says send both your cover letter and your CV, and you decide to only send your CV, you might already be shooting yourself in the leg. Another thing is that especially as a creative, it is important that you attach or you have a link to your portfolio on your CV. So when you're applying to a job and you don't have that, you're not giving the interviewer or whoever is receiving your CV the opportunity to have a full glance of what you actually can do, a feel of what you actually can do. You're already shooting yourself in the leg, because trust me, you are just one of 100 people applying for that one job. So you would want to increase your chances of being considered, right? So you would want to take note of the application details. What are the documents or what are the files required of you when what is the skill? What are the top skills required for that particular job you're applying for? So a job is requesting for 5 years of experience, and you already know that you have 1 year of experience. So for me, I would just advise you, I think you should not apply to that job and just save yourself the heartbreak of getting a rejection letter, right? So say you have a 3+ years of experience and you're applying for a 5-year requirements role, you still stand a chance of getting that job as long as it's in the field that you already currently play in. You might be considered, right? So you want to note the requirements and of course the details that are already in that particular ad. It's always given. If you take notes, you would always see it and you see that you're increasing your chances.
Hey, so thank you so much for that as well. I think that covers up for all our questions for today. It's been very, very insightful. Thank you so much, Olakemi, for giving us all the guidelines, the strategies, the where to find our remote jobs. And thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for making this session so engaging. Before we jump out of this call, I want us to just take notice of some exciting news we have for you. And so the first one is that we are giving our certificate at the end of this particular project. And so to, get to be, classified as one who can get a certificate, you need to join in at least for 20 sessions. That means we have so many of them coming up this year, exciting ones like these. And so please do well to fill the evaluation form. That's the only way, that's the criteria we can use to, map you out as somebody who has been joining the sessions to get a certificate at the end of the project. So please do well to fill the evaluation form. Also, we have, as I said earlier, we have more programs coming up. So to connect with us, you can join our WhatsApp platforms, our Telegram platforms as well. And also something to look out for. In the month of March, we have exciting sessions as well. And that's on the 8th of March. We have a topic on AI tools for business growth. We should all mark it on our calendars. And then on the 20th of March, 2024, we have top 20 skills employers look for in job candidates. So that is it for our session today. This program was proudly brought to you by Mobile Web Ghana in collaboration with US Embassy Ghana. Thank you so much, Olakemi, for giving us these wonderful tips, sharing all this with us. And so we come your way again. Do have a great day. Bye.
Oh, I was hoping we could take the last question, but
okay, so there's a last question here. All right.
Yeah,
So
yes.
yes, okay, so Joseph has a question. Can you share with us a sample of what needs to be on your LinkedIn profile so we can be seen worldwide?
Worldwide. Okay, not to go back to my LinkedIn page. So just ensure that one, you have a professional profile picture. Ensure that your profile is clear and concise, right? It's clear and it's visible to whoever is checking it out, right? And also number two, ensure that your bio is well explained, right? For myself, on my bio on LinkedIn, you would see talent acquisition through strategic partnership, because that is what I do, right? And number two, you want to ensure that your about section is not empty, right? If you check my about section or on LinkedIn, you will see that it clearly explains and details what I have done and what I currently do. And number four is your work experience. Your work experience just gives whoever is looking at your profile a glance of where you have worked, the industry you have worked, and what you have done at those places. It's very useful for recruiters and hiring executives, right? And number five also is the licensing and certification, especially for industries where certificates are very much a requirement, So you would also want to fill up that space with that. And more than necessary, I tell people, don't just leave your LinkedIn page there. Engage with people, post on your profile as much as you can, engage with other people as much as you can, because it increases your chances of your profile getting to the right places and getting to the places that it needs to get to, so that when a recruiter is searching for either talent acquisition professionals on LinkedIn, I'll be one of the first people to pop up on the search engine, because I've not only had a profile, but I've engaged with people and even on my own profile. So I hope that helps.
Yes, think we have a lot of questions coming in, but we have to wrap up. Yeah, I think someone is asking, must you have a tertiary education? That's the last one I'm
No,
taking.
no, no,
To
no,
get
no,
such
no.
opportunities.
No, you must not. I have a cousin friend that's currently in 300 level in Nigeria, and she's a product designer for a company abroad. She works that freelance. She freelance with that. So you don't necessarily have, even though most companies will want people that are done with the tertiary institution before, but you don't necessarily have to finish before you have such opportunities.
Hey, thank you so much for the amazing answers to all the questions that our participants had with you. So we come your way again. Please do well to join our groups as well, and then stay updated for all the amazing sessions we have. Thank you so much, Olakemi, once again
Thank you
for
too.
being with us. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.